Hi there. Welcome to this PowerPoint where we're going to discuss some of the most frequently asked questions that I get regarding Texas 1-to-1 agricultural valuation. I get asked these questions pretty frequently, and so I compiled a list of the most common questions I get and put them together in this quick presentation. So let's go ahead and jump right in. Before we get started, just a little bit about myself. My name is Matt McCarchick. I'm the owner of Texas Bee Services. And here at Texas Bee Services, we offer bee placement and management for 1-to-1 ag valuation. And we also rescue bees across Central Texas, and we place those bees on properties for 1-to-1 ag val. And we're based out in Taylor, which is about 30 minutes northeast of Austin. And you can learn a little bit more about us at texasbeeservices.com. So let's jump in with our first question, and that is, can I get agricultural valuation on my property using honeybees? And the answer is absolutely yes, you can. Texas Property Code, Chapter 23, Subchapter D, Section 2351, paragraphs 1 and 2 state really clearly that bees do qualify as a means to obtain ag valuation. I think it's been an option since, I believe, 2012, and many people do it. It's a great way to save money and to help preserve open lands in Texas. And the next question I always get is, how much money am I going to save in taxes? And the short answer to that is it kind of depends. It depends on where you live mostly. Each county assigns a different taxable value for each acre that you use for ag val using 1-to-1 or with 1-to-1 ag val using bees. And so, for instance, Anderson County, which is like 2 hours east of Waco, each acre there is valued at approximately $1,300 versus Atascosa County, which is just south of San Antonio, is like $168 an acre. So you can see there's a wide range there for how much each acre is valued at when it is used for 1-to-1 using bees. And also, if there's a house on the property, that's going to still be taxed at a market rate, so that's not going to gain any savings with the 1-to-1. So that's going to obviously limit how much you're going to save as a percentage of what you would otherwise pay at market value. And if we do have a video on our website, our YouTube channel, which is titled "How Much Will I Save?" You can look that for more details on kind of getting an idea as how much you can reasonably expect to get, or how much savings you can expect to receive when you use honeybees for your 1-to-1. But as it indicates, we usually see between 80 and 95%, depending on these different factors. If the land is just an open land, all the variables line up correctly. Like for instance, there's no house on the land, the property value is extremely high, the ag valuation per acre for that county is very low, so that you basically don't you would otherwise have a very high value at a market rate versus an ag valuation that is very low. With all of those variables lining up properly, you could see 98, 99%, but that's kind of an extreme case. Usually it's somewhere around the 85 range, but like I said, it always varies depending on which county you're in and all these different factors. So the next question is, if I have ag valuation using cattle or another ag activity, can I move over to bees? And the answer is yes. If you have some other ag activity and you want to move over to honeybees, you can definitely do that. Basically, all you need to do is file the Form 50-129 by April 30th of the year that you want to move over, and then you want to make sure that you provide within the application all of the relevant documentation, which shows that yes, you've got the hives, you've got the bees, you've got the the education, you've got all of the equipment, you have all your receipts, and anything that you can use to kind of prove that you are in fact using the bees for your ag val and you're taking this very seriously. It'll help your application get approved when you submit it. And the next question is, how many colonies am I going to need? And once again, this varies from county to county. Some counties have a lower minimum, like for instance, Rains County, which is about an hour and a half east of Dallas. They require two for the first 5 acres. So if you only have 5 acres, you're only going to need two hives. Lamb County, which is about an hour and a half south of Amarillo, they require one per acre. So if you have 20 agricultural acres that you're trying to get approved for 1-to-1 ag val, you're looking at 20 hives or 20 colonies to take care of. So that's slightly more than the normal. They're more than the norm, but usually what we see is between 6 to 12. That's pretty typical across Texas. That's kind of the mid-range where the majority of counties fall. And there's usually a gradual buildup. The way it works is you'll have, like, for instance, for the first 5 acres, you'll have six colonies, and then each additional acre and a half, you'll have another colony or something like that. It kind of varies, but that's usually how they do it. The Texas Beekeepers Association also maintains a list of the density requirements for each county within Texas. So if you go to the texasbeekeepers.org/bees by county, you can see every one of the individual counties there, and then a list of like what their formula is that they apply to determine what the density requirement is for that specific county. Okay, they do a really good job of keeping that up to date, so I strongly recommend that you reference that for current information. Incidentally, they also have in there a list or a contact information for the CAD for that county as well. So if you want to double check that that's still current, they give you the contact information, so you can basically just call the inspector and verify that those density requirements are current for that county. Next question is, do I need to manage the bees or can someone do it for me? And in Texas, you have the option of either doing it by yourself or having someone do it for you. You can basically manage your own bees or have someone take over that responsibility. And in fact, if you wanted to, you don't even have to purchase the bees. You can have somebody else furnish the bees for you and basically set everything up on your property. They manage everything. You obtain the tax savings, and then you just pay the beekeeper a monthly service fee to manage all of the bees on your property. Works out really well. And when do I need to apply for Texas 1D1 ag valuation? And the answer there is April 30th. You have to apply by April 30th of the year that you want to use for that, or for the year that you want to apply towards the 1D1 requirement. Okay. And the next question is, what happens if a bee colony dies? Will I be out of compliance? And the answer is, yeah, I mean, the technically, I guess you will be out of compliance temporarily, but the ag inspectors, they're great people. I've worked with several of them, and they're not out to play a game of gotcha. They understand that this is kind of a normal thing, and they just want to make sure that you take it seriously and that you replace the bees as soon as reasonably possible, to kind of get back into compliance. But if a bee colony dies, it's not anything to be overly worried about. You just want to make sure that you get back up to the required density as soon as possible. Okay. And do I have to sell honey or other bee-related products is the next question. And the answer is no. You do not have to sell honey or hive products to qualify for your 1D1. You basically just have to produce a food or other tangible product having commercial value. It does not require that you sell that product. So the tax law states, and I can read it verbatim, it says the term they're referring to agricultural use also includes the use of land to raise or keep bees for pollination or for the production of human food or other tangible products having a commercial value, provided that the land used is not less than 5 or more than 20 acres. That verbiage does not state anywhere that you actually have to sell the products that you create. You can consume them, you can gift them, you can do whatever you wish, but there is not a requirement that you sell them. Many people choose to, but it's not a requirement. Okay. And how long does it take to get ag valuation on my property? And the answer to that is you need to have proof of agricultural usage for 5 consecutive years or 5 of the previous 7 years to be eligible. And if you acquire a property while that is in progress, like for instance, if you purchase a property and the previous owner has been working for the past 3 years to get ag valuation or get ag approval for his or her property, you can leverage those 3 years, basically reapply under your own name in the past 3 years that have been that the previous owner had been for instance, having bees on his property and trying to establish that 5 years of activity, you can leverage those, and then you basically just need 2 more years of bees on your property before you would be able to apply for an ag valuation and begin to receive the tax benefits of having your property valued by the ag valuation. Okay. Um, so it is a kind of long process. It is 5 years, but the tax savings are definitely worth every bit of it. Okay. And that's the conclusion of our presentation today. Thank you very much for watching. If you have any questions or concerns or would like clarification on anything presented here today, feel free to reach out to me. My email address is matt@texasbeeservices.com, or you can go to our website at texasbeeservices.com/contact, and you can fill out a contact form there, and I'm usually very quick to respond. So thank you very much. Appreciate you watching, and happy beekeeping.